So it's good to hear this stuff many times. So this is your basically your first theory lesson that you want to start thinking about. So we have major scales. I'm going to start with a C major scale. I'm just kind of diving in the middle, but C major scale has 7 notes. All the scales we're going to be dealing with have 7 notes in the beginning, and we number them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pretty simple, right? So your first job is to memorize this scale. I'm going to give you 3 scales, actually, because it'll correspond to the books. They generally, you're either in C major, G major, or F major. But to practice the scale, first thing you want to do is just play it up and down. And you're going to do it like this. You're going to start with your thumb on C, D, E, and then your thumb is going to come under to F, and you end up at C, and you come back down. And then you go to your third finger on E, same way you came up, okay? That's really it. This is going to just start you memorizing this scale. We're going to do that with the right hand in the beginning. Later we'll do it with the left hand. But the left hand at this point, because you're interested in music theory, I want to get you jump started on what all this stuff is. I'm just shining in my eyes. So for every note in the scale, we can build a chord. And these chords, so when you are composing a piece, now we're in the friendly lab space right now. We're not in the real world. We use this, we learn to understand this, then we build on top of this to get to the more interesting stuff. But, so in the beginning, though, or if you're Taylor Swift, this is how you write a song. So, i.e. pop music, i.e. very just plain vanilla white bread. Love you, Taylor. So for every note in the scale, there's a chord that you build off it, right? And the notes that you use for the chords always come from the scale. So you have the scale, you build the melody using the notes of the scale, and then you build chords using the notes of the scale as well. That's why if we say something is in C major, we're using the notes for the melody, but also the notes for the chords. Okay? And again, this is step 1. Later, we'll build on this. But, and we number the chords just like we number the notes for the melody. So we start, and we're just using triads. We're skipping notes, right? First chord, we call it the 1 chord, is C major. The 2 chord, again, all notes from the scale. 2 chord is D minor. So there's a D minor in C major. The 3 chord, E minor. The 4 chord, F major. The 5 chord, G major. The 6 chord is A minor. And the 7th chord is B diminished. And then you start over. So basically, if you're a pop musician, if you're Bruno Mars, you have corporately mandated chord progressions that you must use. Or they won't release your music. This is a fact. This is not... We don't need them anymore. That's the thing. The thing that people don't understand, there's 7 billion people on the planet. You can get enough money. If like 1 million people, that's like such a small percentage of the world. If 1 million people gave you $1, you'd have $1 million.
That's true, yeah.
That's what I'm hoping. Anyway, so...
You have to kind of like reduce yourself, though.
Maybe.
Pop,
Yeah. No, you don't.
No, pop
music, those guys are fucking billionaires. Anyway, there's God, man. The market in pop, if you're like Taylor Swift, you know how much money she has?
Right.
Oh my God. Anyway, so you pick numbers, basically. All the chords are numbered, and there are very common chord progressions that happen across genres, but so in something like pop music, if you do a 1, 5, 6, 4, it's that's in pretty much almost every single Taylor Swift song. Almost every Bruno Mars song has a 1, 5, 6, 4 in part of the song somewhere. The Beatles.
Yeah. I don't mean to interrupt you guys. I don't know what the video was called, but this guy did this thing where he was playing
Axis of Awesome.
Is that the one with the chord version? They
So
plays it.
good.
He plays like every
So
song.
good.
Like, ever.
Yeah, it's this one. It's 1 5 6 4. So it's
Yeah.
if you play 1 5 6 4.
Yeah.
So it's Let It Be from the Beatles. I find myself in times of trouble. Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom. And then it changes, but or like anything else, with or without you, with or without you. Oh. From U2, if you remember that. 80s. Oh god, I just dated myself. Anyway, yeah. So this is a tool. Music theory is a tool. It's a label for things. Usually people stop at just, I'm playing the scale. Oh, I know my scales. No, you don't. It's like, you can play them up and down, but you have to play it in every combination. So this understanding the numbers of the chords will help you, because what happens is eventually you learn to hear them, like what we were talking about before. Mm-hmm. If you're composing, you stop and you listen, and you go, oh, it needs to go this direction. And instead of just fumbling around, you go not only this direction, but that direction. Oh, that's the 3 chord. Oh, I need to go to the 3 chord and then the 6 chord. Mm-hmm. And that'll transition to wherever you're going.
Right, yeah.
And it's very useful. So, so when you're reading and when you're doing all this stuff, it helps you with your ear. And the music theory, the labels help you to remember the sounds. That's what we're trying to do. So to practice, the exercise that I like to give for practicing these in different keys, because you need practice just playing the scale up and down and playing the shape of the chords. What you're going to do is play the chords in your left hand and the scale in your right hand. And you play the first chord and you say to yourself, the 1 chord is C. And you play the chord, and you play the scale. Then you're going to move up just with your left hand. You say 2 chord is D minor. Same scale here. The 3 chord is E minor. The 4 chord is F major. The 5 chord is G major. The 6 chord is A minor. And the 7 chord is B diminished. And I like to end on the C. So that does a couple things. It starts to really ingrain in your head what the answers are to all that, so that when you do go to mix them up, 1 4 5, you know immediately C F G, that kind of thing. Or 1 5 6 4 is C G A minor F, whatever chord progression happens to be. And also it starts to train your ear to perceive the chords against the notes. Okay? That's C major, and that's it. We're going to do G major. So G major, and by the way, these are formulas, just like you were saying before, whole, whole, half, whole, half. Same thing with all the major scales. There's 12 of them, 1 for each key. So if we go to G major, whole, half, whole, half. It's the same. That's why there's this F sharp here. So a couple things you want to think about is just, there's an F sharp. G major has an F sharp. So that means you're not going to play an F. Just like in C major, you're not going to play any black keys because they're not in there. In this G major, you're not going to play F. So that when we get our chords, first the scale, same fingering. So when you play your chords, 1 chord is G major, 2 chord is A minor, and when we go to this space, there's an F. So you're not going to play the F, you're going to play the F sharp. 3 is B minor. 4 is C major. Same thing here. D major, because it's got the F. 6 is E minor. 7 is F diminished. Okay? And the formula is the same as well. The 1 chord is major. 2 chord is minor. 3 chord is minor. 4 chord is major. 5 chord is major. 6 chord is minor. 7 chord is diminished. On all the major scales. They're all the same. So once you know one of them, and then you figure out how to get your fingers to work on the other ones, then you know all your major scales. And that's the biggest battle in the beginning. Once you know that, you're really going to start to see in the book. You're going to start to see, oh, that's this
Okay,
chord
yeah,
progression, that's
yeah.
this chord progression. And also, when you look at melodies, the first melody, you start to attach the numbers. 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So when you hear a melody in your head, if you really know your intervals from ear training, from doing this and from reading, and you hear something in your head, you'll be able to find it without fumbling around. So ba da ba da dum ba da 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 ba 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 da ba da da da. You know, these are things. I'm obviously not a singer, but I can hear it in my head.
Yeah.
I can hear it in my head, and I know where to go, because I know that you've had the experience that you're inspired and you're like, oh, I need that sound, and you fumble around and it's gone. You can't remember what the sound was. So this minimizes that. So this, G major has an F sharp. Now we'll go back to F major, which has a flat, has a B flat. The fingering is a little bit different. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then thumb under to C, and we end on your fourth finger. And then back 4, 3, 2, 1. Just to go through it, the 1 chord is F major, 2 chord is G minor, 3 chord is A minor, 4 chord is B flat major, 5 chord is C major, 6 chord is D minor, 7 chord is E diminished.
Okay.
So all you're doing in the beginning is memorizing this. And you're going to find that it starts to get into your ears what all these chords sound like. And then we'll do some active listening. We'll start to analyze songs and think about them. You know, it's good to start with pop songs because they're easy.
Right.